Hello guys, so today's video will be more concentrated on the most, I would say, widely used framework, or you can say methodology, which is BDD. Right? You might have heard about Cucumber, you might have heard Gherkin format, right? And a lot of clients demand that we should be using it. And so, uh, but I personally feel, right, it doesn't give you much benefits, right? If your project is quite huge, it is data intensive, maybe for smaller projects, right, which involve like very small acceptance tests. Over there in those areas, you can use it. Let's just see some of the common misconceptions, right, that we have around BDD. And personally, right, I've been working in this industry for more than 10 years now. So I have seen projects which are claiming to use BDD, but they're not actually using BDD. So let's get started. This video as well, like page object model, I'll use some practical examples. So guys, BDD consists of a feature file and a step definition file. Now a feature file is where you write your simple plain English. So if you Google on BDD, the first thing you get is BA and tester sit together. They write a simple plain English, right? Which is um, to a lot of extent is not the right statement, guys. The reason being, let's say I'm a BA and you are a tester. We are sitting together and we are automating login functionality. Let me just bring back. Okay, so it was here. So let's say this is my scenario outline. So this is a feature file, guys. I hope you're aware of it. So this is my scenario outline, and my scenario says like I will log in with valid credentials. Now a BA. Now first of all, a BA needs to understand where they have to write this. Right? So you have certain plugins. Right? You cannot give IntelliJ IDEA to a BA and tell them create a dot feature file and write this. Can you do that? No, you don't, because a BA, they might not be from a technical background, so they might not understand what IntelliJ IDEA is. But if you are expecting a BA to do these tool installation and then create a feature file, I don't think how far it would work. But then BDD also has integration with Jira. You can write the same thing in Jira, but then it won't be formatted like this. In Jira, we do write plain English, but in terms of our acceptance criterias, but it is not formatted like this. Okay, so let's say BA and tester sit together. They write this thing in Jira, and first of all, you have to mandate BA that you have to use these hooks, so which are given and then when. Okay, and all the lines should be started with only these four hooks. What they have to do is, given I navigate to this URL and I enter username and I enter password, when I click login, then I should be logged in. So it's a simple plain English, which is good enough. But some people also go to the next extent. They claim that once you write the simple plain English, it automatically gets converted into automation scripts. That never happens, guys. This thing doesn't get automatically converted into an automation script. We as an automation resource have to create methods for that simple plain English. So let's say as a BA, if you have given me this 5 lines of code, I have 5 methods for these 5 lines in my step definition file, which is over here. Now that is how step definition and your feature file is glued together. If you see over here, given I navigate to, and this is a regular expression, which means it is reading a value from feature file. And this line cannot change. It has to be in this English only. I cannot say given I get to, no, that won't work. It has to be I navigate to, then only this feature file would highlight this and understand, yeah, I have a corresponding method over here. And if another BA and testers, so I hope guys we wouldn't have only one BA or one tester in the project. If it's a huge project, you might have more than 10 BAs and 30 testers. But if it is even a small project, you might have 5 testers and 3 BAs, right? So all those group of three wouldn't write the same plain English. Somebody might say I navigate to, and somebody might say I get to this URL. So how do you ensure like all the BAs and all the testers are using the same plain English and same words as well? Because if a BA changes their English, I have to create another method in my step definition file, right? And every automation tester knows this at the background, right? So it's like not using simple plain English. It's also mandating the BAs and testers to use the same words of that plain English, which is impossible, guys. Especially in agile, right? You are adding another limitations, like, to your life cycle. Okay, now that's the first part. The second part is data management. Let's say your application is data intensive, right? I have 500 fields in my application. So in feature file, this is how you maintain your data. You separate this by pipe, and if there are 100 fields, you have to create, so this is your column header, and this is the corresponding value. If there are, let's say, 50 columns, I have to create these 50 pipelines in this dot feature file. Now you can imagine the readability of this file then. And that is only for one scenario outline. So let's say if you have, now for example, I've seen projects where there are 5,000 tests that are being run, right? So is it, will there be like 5,000 feature files, or will there be like 1,000 feature files, even if you just, club a lot of tests into single feature file? At least there'll be 500 feature files, which is again huge, guys. Right? So your data management isn't that neat and nice in a dot feature file, in a Gherkin format file. So that's again what I personally felt, that you shouldn't be using BDD for data intensive, and especially for end-to-end testing. BDD is not a complete automation tool. It is just a behavior-driven development. In these three words, even the BDD guys, they haven't used testing. It's behavior-driven development. Okay, so now the same thing, right? Even after doing all this stuff, still you have to write your code which you will write otherwise. What I mean by that is, over here, if you have to enter into username field, you have to find element and send keys. Right? This is what you would do, right? Find element and send keys into username field, and then for entering password, you have a altogether separate method. Then again, you will do the same thing: find element and send keys into password field. Otherwise, in data-driven frameworks or in other frameworks, right, core frameworks which we design, we just have a single method and we enter username, password, and we click on login, and that will be just login to application. That will be a single method. But in feature file or in step definition file, we have to split that methods into different methods, and then we should also have the code to, input into those fields. So this actually increases your overall scripting from an automation expertise, right? Or the people who are working on the ground, they very much realize this. And guys, I've seen projects where what they generally do is they don't do all this stuff. They write a simple method when I log into application. Some people are so smart, and then they will create this method and it logs into the application. But that is not BDD. That is, you are just, for namesake, you have created a feature file and you have created a step definition file, but you are still using the the most but the most common way of handling methods. You have a single line and you have created a method for it, which is logging into the application, which you can just call it using your test ng, or if you are a core Java framework developer, you would generally call it from main method. So guys, you have to really understand on your use case where you need BDD. Right? In agile projects, where you actually land around, I would say, 3 or 4 releases in a quarter, can you afford writing all of this stuff, right? So can you afford to write, I mean to say, like, how much feature files or how much of methods for every plain simple English sentence, which has to be same, right, for all the BAs and testers? They cannot change their English as well, right? So uh, this was all for this video, guys. Think about it before implementing BDD, and if you're implementing it, it should be implemented on a very small scale application, on very very small functionalities, right, and only for acceptance testing. For end-to-end testing, for data intensive testing, You cannot think about having all that stuff in a feature file, right? You have to handle it in an Excel file. Or if you have to implement, you can combine both the frameworks, right? But BDD, from my personal now it's my personal opinion. BDD, I don't think, in all the projects, almost like I have worked more than 10 projects in different domains, whether it is telecommunication, media, banking, right? So I have never encountered a situation where we have to use BDD, and because all my projects were quite huge and all of them were into agile, right? So we didn't have much time to script, right? So our framework had to be so that it could be, easily adaptable to the changes. So that's why I have the most of now from last 2 3 years I tend to design framework which is sort of XPathless, where scripting is really less and reusability is more. So as I mentioned in my page object model video as well, I'll be definitely designing a skeletal framework on Selenium using the latest Selenium features. So that was all for this video, guys. Let me know your thoughts on this. Right? If any BDD expert is watching this, probably they can just leave the comments. Right? It's open for discussion. Thank you. Do like and subscribe.